We are back for Game Log Monday. Hope everybody had a enjoyable weekend. We've got 12 games on our partner DraftKings slate for this Monday. Not a ton of weather to talk about, maybe some passing showers in Cincinnati or Minnesota. But other than that, I think every pitcher who pitched in the All-Star game is on this slate tonight. It is a very top-heavy slate. The pricing for some of these guys, I think 4 or 5 of them, is about as high as it's been all season long. So there's going to be some things to navigate here on this slate because you can't just toss these guys into your pool. You're going to have to make, at least in my opinion, DC, you're going to have to make some decisions tonight at pitching. And Uncle T is already in here talking shit. And let's start with that, Big T. I mean, it's a big slate, 12 games, but we got to talk about this. Last week, Uncle T, he said that basically you would last about 30 seconds in the federal pen and that he would have zero problem. Now, I don't know if that's because he doesn't have an issue with the things that he'd have to trade in the big house, but how do you respond to Uncle T?
He said he would have zero issue in the pen. He doesn't leave his city that he lives in, and he's going to be okay in the pen. And the one that travels all around, is going to have problems. I don't understand that.
Yeah, he also said that you couldn't run more than 10 yards. I mean,
that part could be true. Although I will say this year, I was healthy, played a full season of basketball, no injuries, got up and down just fine. You know how many games Uncle T played?
How many games?
As many as you?
0 basketball games.
0 basketball. Pooh played. You guys know Pooh. Pooh's in his 50s. Pooh's old. Pooh was out there playing. Uncle T was nowhere to be found, even in the preseason game. Those are just the facts.
Absolutely love Pooh. Absolutely love Pooh. DC, what's going on in this beautiful?
He said he never said that. Are you stirring the pot on a game log on game log Mondays here, JT?
I'm disappointed. Listen, Uncle T has a fragile relationship with the truth, and this is just another example. It's very upsetting. It's very upsetting.
Yeah. I had completely forgotten about the Uncle T, just out of nowhere, by the way. I don't even know where the conversation from Terry came up that he would somehow thrive in the federal.
He would thrive in the pen.
Yeah, which I can't believe he said it. I still can't believe it 4 days later. But I had forgotten until just this moment. So, that's why we're excited for these shows. You never know what's going to be brought back out of the grave. Crazy Uncle T takes. One of the many things that could come up on this show. So, I don't know.
Listen, I mean, you learn something new about the Niehaus boys every time that we're on here for Game Log Monday. And
I want to be clear, too, before you go ahead. I'm not saying I'd be some expert in the pen.
No.
I'm just saying my chances would be better than Uncle T is all I'm throwing out there. I do not want to test my
So if there was a Survivor FCI edition, you would outlast Uncle T.
Uncle T for sure. Would I be number one, like, of all the Run Pure people? Definitely not. I'd be a softie too, and there, but I would definitely outlast Uncle T.
We'll probably move on from this at some point, but who would be number one in thriving in the federal penitentiary among RPS coordinators? That's a good question.
I mean, JSU has the ability to, like, not eat for weeks and, like, he'd have to be towards the top of the list just because he doesn't care about any of that stuff.
He could run away. He's got some agility. He could carve out some space for himself.
JVC would definitely not be able to handle it in there. Uncle
JVC would mouth off within the first hour.
He would end up dead.
He'd be hung upside down, bleeding out.
First night.
He'd make it one night.
Drinking his blood from the trough and carving him up for fucking snacks.
JVC's the Bud Longshot in this debate.
Oh, my God. Mangone could survive.
Mangone could survive.
Mangone's a sweet talker. All right, we got too many games.
Advice, though, you just go after the biggest dude right away to, like, establish your credit, not realizing the big dude's just going to end him.
Depends. It depends. Could go both ways. If the biggest dude is the leader, then you got a bunch of people coming after you. So
it's not going both ways for a lot of us. We're just getting ended in a hurry.
Yeah. All right. 12 games. TC, how are you doing?
Doing better now after this riveting 5-minute conversation. Ready to talk some ball.
All right, go ahead. Drop any questions you have in the chat, and we'll get right into the slate. With the 7:05 window, it is the Tampa Bay Rays, not at home. They are in New York, in Yankee Stadium. Drew Rasmussen, 7,700. Cam Schlittler, 7,600 DC. I didn't put either of these guys on the playbook. I know that the Rays said that they were going to use Rasmussen as more of a traditional starter, at least for the time being. But then his first start out, I think he ended up with something like 75 or 80 pitches. Anyway, Schlittler, 7,600 against a team that has a lot of lefties in the lineup. And the ones at the top are ones that, at least with Aranda and Lau, have some power. So neither of these guys made the playbook. What are you doing with this first game of the night in the Bronx?
Yeah, 12 games tonight, so a lot to choose from. And I'm with you. Neither Schlittler or Rasmussen made the cut for me. Both priced in that mid-7K range. They're not pitchers that I particularly, I'm trying to necessarily load up all my lineups against either of these guys. I think they're both decent arms. Expect they'll be okay, but I think they're not great plays for a number of reasons on this slate. I do think you can look for offense. I mean, this park, obviously Yankee Stadium, good home run park, 90 degrees in the stadium today. So we're going to see the ball fly. No Aaron Judge, but that does open up a little bit of a cheaper Yankee stack if you want to go in that direction. They're not the top of my list today, but certainly don't mind one-offs. Dominguez, I think, would be the number one guy I would look toward from the Yankees, 3,700 hitting in the 2-hole tonight. And then it's kind of the same story as usual with the Rays, right? It's the heart of the lineup that you want. Diaz, Aranda, Junior Caminero, those three are, I think, about as high upside of a trio as you'll get from a night-to-night basis, especially in this park. So, yeah, against a rookie pitcher who is, I think, a decent arm, but not someone you need to fear. I do think that top of the lineup that you mentioned, JT, looks pretty good to me. So, yeah, mostly the power bats at the top of the lineup, really on both sides of this game. I'm with you, not playing either of these pitchers.
Big T, the first game of the night is in the Bronx. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be the theme of the show a little bit, just because pitching, like you said, is just off the chart tonight with how much upside you have in just a million spots. So offense just naturally is going to be a little harder just because the pitching's good. Even some of the games that we're going to like the offense, pitching's at least decent in those spots. There's not like that many there's a few tanks out there, but there's not that many tanks out there. And this is one of those games. I mean, the pitching's good, but you do have a good hitter's park. You got some upside bats. I almost agree, identical with DC, where I'm not going to eliminate these guys because, again, we got the $5 tonight on DraftKings. I'm going to put $150 in it like usual for that $5. So I definitely want some of these stacks, like without a doubt. But are they going to be my first teams in? Not even close. And like you guys said, I kind of think the Yankees are more – well, obviously, that was going to be a terrible statement I made, but sneaky without Judge in there. I don't mind the lineup, though. You pop McMahon in there. This is a good park, obviously, for McMahon. Even coming from Coors, this is one of the better setups for him down in the 7-hole, 3,900. I like this lineup. Outside of Austin Wells and Volpe, I like 1 through 7 here. But it's just a tough spot. Rasmussen's just solid. I don't know. I'm just going to let SaberSim cop me out here and give me, 5% Yankee stacks or something, 5% Rays. No clear stands for me. I do think this lineup's still plenty dangerous, though. I mean, look at the top of this thing. You got a lot of lefty power. Stanton's obviously got power. Goldie stinks. He's old, but he can hit a bomb here and there. Ryan McMahon. I don't know. I want some of this game, but not in love with it. So pretty much agree with DC overall.
Yeah, I feel the same way. However many of these stacks land in my lineups is fine unless it's wildly over the field, and then I'm just going to manually bump them down.
You talked about it too, JT, the 1 week, just to show people SaberSim. Like, look at all the, like, what did we say? The shaded players or whatever.
Guys who didn't make the first run.
It just doesn't get much. And honestly, I want to force in a little bit which if you're using SaberSim, how I would do that, go to Stack Expo or Team Stacks, go to 5 stacks or 4, whatever you want to do. And then just like find the Yankees, who I don't have hardly any, all the way at the bottom, but just like 5% or something, just to make sure I get some stacks in there.
All right, fair enough for that first game. Move on to the second game. Big T, it's in your backyard. We'll stick with you here. The Dodgers heading into Cincinnati. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 9,700. The wildly talented rookie Chase Burns, 7,500. I think Yamamoto is a little sneaky here, Big T. He's not going to get the ownership that he would on a slate without some of these very, very good pitchers that are on it. And the Reds have been, a lineup that will strike out a bit against right-handed pitching. Yoshi, a couple of mediocre starts, I think, coming off of, but also decent ones. I think this is a spot where he could have some upside. What are your thoughts here on the Dodgers and the Reds?
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so much upside on this slate. You got to make some cuts at pitcher. I'm fine with Yamamoto. He's just solid. He struggled a little bit. I definitely like him less than the other top guys, but that doesn't mean he's in a bad spot. A lot of the guys that I'm going to cut tonight are still in good spots. Even like Rasmussen, I don't think is terrible in that first game, but you just have to make cuts. And I don't think I'll play much Yamamoto, but I do get why that would be a play for you, especially get a little leverage off some of those top guys, much lower owned. Same upside as those top guys, honestly, against a team like Cincinnati. You look at this lineup. So I could definitely see that. The guy for me, though, is Burns. I mean, 7,500 is just crazy. He's the same to me. Again, you guys are more baseball guys than me. You'll probably – I don't know what you'll think about it, but he's the same as Miz from Milwaukee for me. Miz is 10K. Burns, what if Miz was 7,500 versus the Dodgers? We would jam him, right? But and the same thing for Burns. I'll throw it other way. If Burns was 10K, I probably wouldn't like him as much at 10K. But 7,500 for a guy with a 6.5K prop that has struck out 10, I think 3 of his starts already. I don't have it up in front of me, but at least 3 of the starts. Just so much upside for 7,500. I know the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Could the Dodgers score 12 runs? Absolutely, they could. But look at this lineup. It's not what the Dodgers can roll out there as much. So You only got, 2 lefties you're worried about? Because I do worry about lefties against Burns. Ohtani, obviously, you're always going to worry about Ohtani. He's Ohtani. And Freddie, he's old, but he's still solid. The rest of the lineup, though, I don't know. I'm all in for Burns. I love Burns in this spot. Will I play some Dodgers just because can Burns get wild? Can the Dodgers have upside? I'll play a little Dodgers. Maybe I'll throw a little 5% Dodgers in there too. But make no mistake about it, Burns, if he's not because I don't really want to pay up for both pitchers. I want to spend up for one and play a guy like Burns as my number 2. But man, I don't know how you wouldn't like Burns in this spot. And we're tournament players, the 3 of us. We're looking for upside. We're trying to win 50K for $5 tonight. I don't see how you could do better than Burns in these spots. I mean, just a massive K prop, massive upside. Dodgers have struggled. Checks all the boxes for me. So I'm more on pitching in this game to kind of. I know you like Yamamoto. I think both pitchers are solid. I won't play much of the Reds. I don't think they have a ton of upside against Yamamoto. Maybe you pick a bat or 2. And then like 5%, like I said, Dodger stacks, just in case Burns gets wild. Because they could go off on Burns if he gets wild. He's still a young dude, but definitely more Burns for me.
DC, I'm higher on Yamamoto. I think he's underprojected here in this spot rather than some of the other guys. And I'm going to fade a couple of the 10K guys. We'll get to those when we get to those games. I do like Burns here. I'm not going crazy with Burns. If Burns is going to be 10 to 15% owned, maybe I'll have 20%. Burns in my mix. What are you doing here, DC in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I echo really a lot of what Big T said. Yamamoto, I'm just kind of neutral on him. Sounds like maybe you're a little higher on Yamamoto than some of the 10K guys. I like most of the 10K guys a little bit better than Yamamoto, but it's close, I think, between those guys. Personal preference. For me, Sanchez, Valdez, I do like better, but no problem at all with Yamamoto, especially with a little bit of a discount. But yeah, I mean, Chase Burns, you have to like him, I think, here at this price point, 7,500, with the strikeout upside that he brings. I mean, he had that one game, his second game against the Red Sox, where he didn't get an out, tipping pitches, couldn't get out of the first inning. Other than that, in his other 4 starts, he has 10 strikeouts twice, 8 and 7. And, the stuff grades out as some of the very best stuff in MLB. If you watch the game, you wouldn't need those numbers to know that. Just watching him pitch is enough to see it with your own eyes. And, one of the concerns with him was how deep are they going to let him go into games? He's thrown 90-plus pitches in all 3 of his last 3 starts. So they're letting him go. The talent is undeniable. Obviously, the matchup against the Dodgers is not great. The home run ball could bite him here. It's, a great home run park. But the strikeout upside is clearly there at double digits. And you just don't get legit 10-plus double-digit strikeout upside for a $7,500 pitcher. It doesn't come around very often where that's a realistic possibility. You throw in an ownership discount because there is strong pitching on the slate. I mean, we're going to see Burns, it looks like, around 10% owned. I think
this can't be real. Like, seriously, we're going to get him at 6-7% owned. How can that be real?
I even gave it a bump from what Saber had it. They've got it at 6 or 7. Even if we put it up to 10 or 15%,
that's crazy.
That's still too low for the upside that he brings to the table. So.
I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's right, and I think it's right because you've got, I think, 6 10K pitchers who are almost all of them, I think, appropriately priced. Yamamoto at 9,700. People still think this is the Dodgers of the beginning of the season when they were scoring 10 runs a night. This hasn't been the same team as Big T mentioned. Go ahead, DC.
I legit think it's the same spot as the 10K. I think we're getting a 2,500 discount on it.
Well, I agree with you, Big T. And then also just this day and age in MLB DFS, a lot of people are not really looking at the type of stuff that a pitcher is bringing to the table, right? They look at the projection. And yes, the Dodgers do have a pretty high team total relative to how much we like Burns, but that's the downside risk. We're not really talking about that, right? We're trying to get to the top of a tournament, trying to beat 50,000 teams. Who can give you 30 plus at 7,500? The most likely to do it by far, I think, is Chase Burns. So I think he's an awesome play tonight.
I never throw stats at people, but for Burns, I got some stats. So the last 30 days, only the last 30 days, which, JT's getting excited. Don't be making fun of me. So 30 days over there. I like that. Chase Burns, though, 35% K rate the last 30 days, higher than anyone on the slate. The Dodgers, though, the sneaky part is the Dodgers have one of the highest on the slate K percentage at 26%, one of the highest on the slate. I think literally everything pops off for me with Burns. I just can't say enough how much I like him tonight.
All right.
You like those JT? Were they good, or was it?
I mean, I'm speechless. I'm speechless because normally, we're not talking about stats. We're talking about what a player did a few games ago. Yeah. Here, you bring in like a month-long sample of not just a pitcher,
for me.
I want to know how Big T got his information. Did he get an AI bot to summarize the?
I don't use AI. Come on, now you usually have me pegged, but you did not have me pegged in this one. AI.
Sign up for a FanGraphs membership. I want to know how Big T arrived.
He created his own pivot sheet, and it gave him that info. It's beautiful.
I mean, I can't be saying all my I can't be giving credit to any other sites, but I use some other site to get me my pitching numbers.
Okay, all right.
Shouldn't have asked.
That's fair. Okay. DC will stick with you, even though I'm tempted to start with Big T for the following reason. In the next game, it is in Milwaukee. Matthew Boyd at 8,700, Jacob Misiorowski at 10K. Misiorowski pulled at something like 64 pitches his last start out in Seattle, DC. And the people are always on me. They say I don't give the takes. I don't give my opinion. Misiorowski is a fade for me on this slate, just with all the other options. Do not think it's necessary at all to go there. Sure, we have seen the upside, but we've also seen the fact that pitch count's going to be a little bit volatile. And at 10K, I'm just going to go in other directions. I am a little bit interested in Matthew Boyd at 8,700 just because against all reason and logic, he just continues to dominate the competition. Big T, if you looked at his game logs are very impressive. Now he gets a matchup against the Brewers here, who've cooled off after a little bit of a hot stretch DC, what are you doing here with this game?
Yeah, I'm with you with Mizorowski. I've been on the Mizorowski train. I mean, very, very similar pitcher, I think, to Chase Burns. A little bit unrefined, but the stuff is off the charts. They're going to have monster strikeout games. And I did play him in his last start, got him at low ownership, was pretty happy about that. And, I was watching this guy put up a fantastic performance. And then all of a sudden the broadcast is talking, they're going to be very, very cautious with this man's pitch count. And they freaking pull him at 64 pitches, 3 2/3 innings. He gets 7 strikeouts, hadn't given up an earned run. And the way the announcers were talking, I haven't looked, honestly, that much further into it than just hearing what they were saying. But it does seem like they're going to be really careful with this pitch count. And the way they said it, they've got to manage his kind of total workload. Obviously, Brewers have made a run. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to need him in the playoffs. And they said that they're going to manage it via pitch count, not skipping start. So to me, what that means is I think we're going to see a lot of these 60 to 70, 3, 4, 5 innings out of Mizorowski. I do think there could be some starts where they just let him go, 80 pitches, and we don't know when those are going to be. But 10K for a tough matchup for a pitcher who we just have no idea really what the pitch count is going to look like. I'm with you, JT. Love the pitcher. Hard to pay the price on this slate in this matchup. So I'm off Mizorowski, unfortunately. And I like Boyd a little bit too. He's been fantastic. Start after start after start. Eventually, at some point, you got to give the guys credit for getting the job done. And Boyd doing it every time out. So why not at 8,700? Looks like relatively low ownership. I know the Brewers have been winning games, but this still isn't an offense that I'm running away from for a pitcher who's at the top of his game right now. So give me Boyd over Mizorowski, and not really on the bats here. I think a really super low-owned Cubs stack against a rookie pitcher could make some sense, but only as a 150 type play.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm definitely going to have Cubs stacks in my 150 mix, and they're going to be 2% owned. Yep. So let's say 4 or 5%, like Big T was saying, in the Yankee Tampa game. Big T, the thought process here on this game and on Mizorowski in particular, it's pretty wild to see what the Brewers are doing. I don't know if this strategy is going to work out because their bullpen has logged more innings than any other bullpen in the game. I read this weekend, and it seems like they're already playing for the playoffs, even though we've got a long way to go, especially in that Central Division with the Cubs chasing them. It's going to be an interesting series. What are your thoughts on this first game?
Yeah, I agree a lot with what you guys are saying. I'm not going to stack the Cubs, full stack at least. I kind of did it on the screen while you guys were talking, but I'm going to leave the upside guys in, mini stack type thing. I don't disagree though. Any team in baseball, you can. I use the example every friggin' week, but Squid, the Saber Sim guy, Squid, last week won like 3 or 4 times again for just boatloads of money by having just random stacks like the Cubs. So in baseball, it works. Like, it's just a good thing to do. But you can't stack, at least me personally, I can't stack every single team. So I got to make a few cuts. And I really like the mini stacks for them with some of these high priced, because it's going to be tough to play high priced guys tonight with these pitchers. So, like, it's going to be even tougher to play like a Cubs stack where you got their upside guys all above 5K, even Ian Happ, 4,700. So I'm going to try to pick out a little mini stack because obviously everything we're saying about Miz is more pitch count based than skill based. Like, if you guaranteed me 100 pitches, he'd be right back in the mix for me in a hurry. But like I said with the Burns part, I don't see how he can be 2,500 cheaper than Miz when his pitch count, like DC said, is up where it needs to be in the 90s. Maybe he could even get in the hundreds. I wouldn't be shocked. So I just don't see it. I like Boyd with you guys. I don't think Boyd has some like insane upside or anything. He's one of the safe type pitchers on the slate where maybe he gets you 15, which you never know. Again, we think all these pitchers are going to go off and this and that, but you never know when 15 at a lower price points gets you something. So I'm on the pitchers in this game. Even though we're not playing Miz, I still like Miz. I like Milwaukee bullpen. I don't think Chicago's like some great spot, but I agree with what you guys said. I don't have any crazy, and I'm not playing any Milwaukee bats against Boyd. Or did I leave? I might have left a few cheap righties. I'm not stacking them, put it that way. If a few of the, like Andrew Vaughn against a lefty at 2,900, okay. But you can see I only got a few guys in here, and I don't want a full stack of them.
Boyd, I do think Boyd has upside just because of the pitch count. He just put up 32 DraftKings points against the Yankees a couple of starts ago. So
Milwaukee just doesn't strike out, though. Like
they also don't really do a lot of damage. They haven't done a lot of damage recently against left-handed pitching, and Boyd is a guy that they'll let pitch 8 innings. So it's just, when you have that at 8,700 on a slate where all the other pitchers that you are going to be drawing the majority of the ownership are 10K and above.
Game log Mondays. Welcome to Game log Mondays, baby.
That's why I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you said he doesn't have crazy upside. I
didn't factor in the game log part. Like he's been incredible. So you got to factor that in on Game log Mondays.
Did you spend today breaking down stats instead of game
log? I shifted it up a little bit. I was looking at K numbers. I should have just stuck with game logs. I messed up. I apologize. But now I know. I'm back on Boyd.
Okay. All right. We're going to stick with you, and we're going to go to another park that we'll bring something else in here, right? The parks, what's going on in these parks. Park that you don't love, Big T. It's in Kansas City. It is the Atlanta Braves. After, I believe they got swept. I didn't pay all that much attention to the outcome of the games, just saw that the Rangers scored a lot of runs. The Braves did not score a lot of runs. So Braves in Kansas City against the Royals, Spencer Strider at 10K, Rich Hill making his second start since returning to Major League Baseball. Rich Hill is 5K, Big T. And the question for you is, when you see that 5K, does it get you feeling the way that a Kyle Freeland or an Austin Gomber had you feeling?
I heard you were making fun of me, by the way. Somebody told me you were making fun of me. I didn't see it.
I didn't make fun of you.
I heard you were making fun of me. That's what I heard.
I was not on any shows. I was not doing any content. I was barely in the Discord. I didn't make fun of you. Did I laugh in my own office when I saw it?
In my own office.
Of course I laughed. I laughed heartily, and then I stacked the opposing team. I mean, that is sometimes what you have to do. The difference here, Rich Hill 5K, the Braves are terrible. The Braves I can't even talk about what they did over the last 24 hours, the types of pitchers they're acquiring. It's going to be a fun August for playing DFS with these guys that the Braves are going to roll out there. But for tonight, your thoughts on this game in Kansas City. Uncle T, I said nothing. I said nothing about him. You made fun of him. I would have made fun of him.
I don't know if Uncle T is going to do so well in the pen as a snitch.
I know. I know. I'm actually sending a box of leaded BBs to his house. But go on, Big T. Game in Kansas City. Braves and the Royals, Christian Leone, they all suck. Go ahead, Big T.
I mean, Rich Hill, it's funny because it's a very similar play to the Freeland play. Like, I look at this.
I mean, I would argue that Rich Hill could be worse.
I mean, he probably is worse, but the slate too is different.
They're right around the same.
You have so much upside on this slate. Like, I have a hard time going there, but like, I'll probably leave some of the cheap pitchers in the Saber just in case it flips the build in some spots.
You're leaving Rich Hill in there, Big D?
He's in there right now. I got to project it for 10 fantasy points, baby.
When I was doing the playbook, I got to the value section, and like, I'm looking for the guys, and I'm like, Palante doesn't project too badly. I'm like, Hill is only 5K. And then I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is insane. Can't do it.
By the time I run my final Saber, like once we get off the show and I'm building, I'll probably just take all the cheap guys out. Honestly, there's too many good pitchers up top. But for right now, he's in there. And another reason, though, is Atlanta stinks. And Atlanta's going to be the chalk of the slate. Yes. So you can flip the build easily. And granted, like, I don't think it's going to work. I'm not like saying it's some mastermind play, but I'm definitely under on Atlanta because even though Rich Hill is 70 years old and sucks, he throws frisbees in there.
He threw 90 pitches against the Cubs, Big T.
The guy's a warrior. Like, he's been grinding the minors. I just don't think Atlanta is going to go in there and score 12 runs off Rich Hill. I just don't. As chalk too. Like, I don't see it. So Will I play Rich Hill? Probably not, but I'm also not going to be high on Atlanta. I really don't like this Atlanta lineup at all. So I'm lower on Atlanta. And then Strider versus Kansas City. Isn't this a similar spot to what, like, I mean, Strider, Kansas City doesn't scare you with power. They don't scare, but they don't strike out either. So it's like, can Strider still
look at this lineup. Look at this lineup. So Caglianone, I put this in the playbook. By the way, Joe Ruff, I think that's you. Playbook's not done yet. I'll be done with it soon. This team was struggling mightily before Jack Caglianone got up to the big leagues. Now he's back on the IL. Adam Frazier is in the 5-hole. Is that or the 6-hole? Frazier, Grichuk, MJ Melendez is back in our lives. Kyle Isbell. This is not a scary lineup.
I mean, I'm definitely on the Strider side, and I never like Kansas City, especially in spots like this. I don't know. I mean, the lineup's so bad. The only thing about them is that they just do make a lot of contact. Sometimes Strider does get in trouble with just when he can't get all the Ks. I've seen him struggle. What was it last week? He gave up a couple bombs, or was that 2 games ago?
Yeah, his last game was against the Giants, and the Giants got to him a bit.
Yeah, but it's tough to stack it. Even on a slate like this, Kansas City's just tough to get to. I mean, Melendez hasn't really played all year, right? Was he hurt, or what was his deal?
He was demoted.
Yeah, I don't blame him for demoting him either. And somehow Bum Grichuk is here now.
Right.
Yeah.
Grichuk against the righty. I mean,
my takes on this game, definitely low on the Royals. I doubt I'll stack them at all. And the Braves, I mean, what do we think the Braves will be owned? On a huge slate, I mean,
I'm seeing a ridiculous ownership number. Thanks to
what's ridiculous, though, on this slate? 15?
10%? 10% of one of the worst hitting teams in the game?
I want to be under on them. I will play some, again, playing 150, but I want to be under for sure. I don't like going against Frisbee throwers. I don't care how old they are.
All right, DC, give it to us.
I'll be the sucker on the show playing these Braves.
You always play the chalk, by the way. You freaking love chalk. Like, you love chalk.
Please, no, I love chalk. You're the one that's always telling me that
you don't love chalk pitchers. You love chalk hitters.
Yeah,
you always jam cores. You always jam the spots like this. You're chalk, DC chalk, draft chalk.
Yeah. Well, I'm eating the tomahawk chop. That's tongue twister there. But yeah, I'm in on the Braves. I mean, Hill. I personally like playing hitters against a 45-year-old that's throwing frisbees up there. In this first start. The Cubs, ended up being a tiny bit disappointing overall. But one of the things I brought up, Rich Hill can not control the run game whatsoever. The Cubs stole 7 or 8 bases in that game. So Acuna in particular, I think, is by far the best individual play on this slate. But yeah, Profile I like a lot, Albies, and then all the righty power. I mean, I know Riley and Murphy, especially Riley, has been disappointing, but I'm in on the Braves. Right-handed power. Acuna, a guy, really the first guy in my lineups tonight is Ronald Acuna, and then build from there. And I like the rest of this Braves lineup too. I'll take my chances against old man Rich Hill, and doesn't always work out, but I want to be on the stacking against Rich Hill train for as long as he's around. Which, frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if any start that he makes is his last one, due to getting absolutely shelled. So hopefully it's tonight. Strider, I'm fine with him. I do think he's the worst outside of Mizorowski of the 10K pitchers, though. I prefer Sanchez, Valdez, and DeGrom all over Spencer Strider, mostly due to the strikeout matchup. So I won't have much Spencer Strider, but I do think he's a fine play at 10K.
And the problem is, I don't think they're going to let Rich Hill wear one. So if they start to give up runs, I think you're going to see the bullpen fire up pretty quickly. And the Braves, they just haven't hit major league pitching. And so that's, I get it. I get it. If you think that he is going to be around. All right. That is the game in Kansas.
One guy hot that just Game Log Monday, in the spirit of Game Log Monday, the guy that sticks out to me is Michael Harris, lefty. He's on fire right now. Ozuna hasn't got a double-digit game in like 3 months. people are going to play Ozuna, right? I mean, Ozuna is like the coldest hitter I've ever seen in life.
I don't know that anybody's going to play 7-hole Ozuna. I guess people will play 7-hole Ozuna. That's the thing. When you look at this lineup, first of all, Michael Harris, he did have one really good game. He's had one really good game in the last 2 months.
What do you mean? He went for 41 and 21 this weekend. 21's not good?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You just said one game.
There's nobody. Yeah, the one game. I mean, the one game. 21. All right. That's
41 was the other game. The 41 doesn't count.
What about the third game?
It was 8. 41, 21, and 8.
All right. So he's cooled off. I mean, this is all right.
He had 8 hits.
This is true. JT is the most self-hating Braves fan I've ever seen. He absolutely despises the Atlanta Braves. So
he had 8 hits this weekend. 8 hits.
They're just not very good. I don't know what else to say. I mean, all right.
The Braves do suck. I'm with you. We're teaming up against DC on this one. They're horrible, and they're chalk.
All right. Let's move on. Next game in Chicago, Christopher Sanchez, 10-5, Davis Martin, 5,700. DC, you mentioned you like Christopher Sanchez. I'm on the fade train on Sanchez. He is coming off a outstanding performance, complete game, 12 strikeout, 106 pitch performance against the Boston Red Sox. The White Sox team we've been picking on, all of a sudden hitting up left-handed pitching solidly. They dispatched Shota Imanaga last week pretty easily. I'm not in on this spot for Sanchez at this ownership, at this highest price point of the season, but tell us why you like him and what your other thoughts are on the White Sox and the Phillies.
Yeah, Sanchez is just kind of one of those, I can kind of consider him like one of my dudes, right? I've got bets on him to win NL Cy Young, all sorts of props from before the season, been one of my bigger hits, just being right on Sanchez. And he's been awesome all season long. And I actually think, obviously easy to say after a complete game, 12 strikeout performance, but his stuff had been trending up even prior to that game. And to me, he is right there with the very, very best arms in baseball. I thought he's had that kind of potential all season long, even dating back to last year. And now we're finally seeing it. He did go 9 innings, which is sometimes a concern, but I mean, he's gone 7+ innings in 4 straight starts. He only threw 106 pitches there in that complete game. And has an extra day of rest. So I'm not worried about fatigue. And I just think this is he's a bulldog out there. Even when he gives up runners, he just keeps on kind of just plowing through and always delivering good performances. And I think the Phillies, like their manager is kind of old school. You see Wheeler sometimes go very deep into games. They let Sanchez do it when he's got a pitch count that supports it. So even coming off the 9-inning game, I think if he's rolling in this game, which I fully expect him to be, I think they'll let him go 7, 8, maybe even 9 innings if it comes to it again. So I'm in on Sanchez here, but we've all got these players in DFS where they're just good to us, right? They come through time and time again, and Sanchez is one of those for me. So I'm definitely a little bit biased just in his favor in general. And I do get it. I mean, 10.5, you're not getting a price discount anymore on Sanchez. So no problem going to other guys in this range, but I do like Sanchez. He is in my cores on both sites and one of my favorite pitchers on the slate. And then, Philly looks good to me too. I mean, you get Davis Martin, the Chicago White Sox bullpen, pretty decent hitting weather in Chicago, good home run park, all that stuff. So Phillies, specifically the top of that lineup, Schwarber, Harper in particular, look really good against Martin and the White Sox to me.
Big T, thoughts here on the Phillies and the White Sox?
Yeah, it was interesting to just running the Saber and stuff, how much like White Sox I got for leverage. And it might have something to do with what JT was saying, how they've hit lefties better. The issue for me is I do tend to agree more with DC, where Sanchez is just one of those guys that I just have pretty much played all the time. I love him. I think he's really good. Look, I mean, I got 52% in my prelim runs of Sanchez, so it kind of shows you how good the spot is. But it is a spot where I do want some White Sox for the way they've been playing and also for the price points. I think it matches the slate really good, where you can play 2 spend up. Like, say you want to spend up on 2 guys, whoever it is, 2 studs you pick. you can get really cheap price points here on a stack for a team that's hit really good. Luis Robert's been awesome. Austin Slater's always been a splits guy. I'm sure they'll pull him out after they get out of the first couple times through. But I don't know. There's a lot of, even if it's a mini stack, there's a lot of leverage in this White Sox team against Sanchez. And that's me saying it. I mean, I'm going to have probably 50. I'll end up with somewhere in here 50% Sanchez. So I definitely like him, and even my main team. But in the $5 lotto tonight, I think the White Sox are a decent little spot, and the Phillies are just. I think they might be the best team right now. I don't know. I don't even know what the odds are to win the World Series right now. But to me, they're as set up as anybody. Their lineup's good. Their pitching's good. I think everything kind of lines up for the Phillies. And like you guys were saying, at the top of this lineup, I mean, Schwarber, if I had to pick one guy to hit a home run tonight, it would be Schwarber. The dude is freaking dialed right now, and perfect spot for him. Love it. Harper's looking good. Castellanos has got hot. Some of the guys at the bottom of the lineup have even got hot. Max Kepler's been pretty good. I don't really like Marsh and Kemp that much, but I think it was DC that said top of the lineup. Yeah, I mean, down to Real Muto's been good. Kepler, Bryson Stott. I mean, the only two guys I really don't like are Marsh and Kemp, but I love the matchup. I got a pretty good amount of the Phillies, and honestly, I want to bump it a little more. I want more Phillies, so love Schwarber, love Harper. I'm all aboard the Phillies tonight, but I do think the White Sox are somewhat sneaky for a little mini stack or even a full stack in this spot.
This is really disappointing because Otto Kemp hit 2 home runs on Saturday. Big T.
See, that's why you got to update me on game log.
Saturday, yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, I still
you really did spend the day pouring in its stats. All right. Very good. All right, let's move on to the next game. It's in Minnesota. Should be clear from weather, but this is one of the two potential weather spots here. We'll stick with you, Big T. Richard Fitz, 6,200. Simeon Woods Richardson, 6,600. No need to go with any of these pitchers for me on this slate. What about bats? Or maybe do you have a pitcher that you like in this game?
So when I was grinding through the cheap pitchers just to see like who could stick out, Fitz had the second most like numbers that stuck out to me as far as where is it at? Let me go to the notebook, JT. Let me go to my notebook here. So he's only struck out 20%, but 32%. I'm sure it's not a big sample. I didn't write the sample down. Minnesota's just striking out a shit ton. So I left him in. Again, I'm going to give my same line I said about Rich Hill, though. I don't think you got to go cheap. I want to play the upside pitchers tonight. There's just so much upside. But he's hanging around in there, 4.5%, Mr. Fitz. Probably above the field, even at that number. And I think this game will end up somewhat popular just because it's one of the few games that doesn't have top pitching in it. And aren't we going to like search for games like that tonight where almost every game you're going against good pitchers? You got to find some of these games that don't have the same type of pitching in it. This is one of those games. So I definitely want a decent amount of bats in this game. I like the Boston lineup too. As they get some guys back, I like what it's looking like here, all the way top to bottom too. We talk about that a lot on these shows, but I like when I can play all 9 guys. Boston is definitely a team that I can play all 9 guys and feel pretty good about. So that makes it easy to stack in a spot like this. In Minnesota, even though they don't strike out a ton, you have good price points. The one guy I refuse to ever play is Vasquez. I got to get him out of there right now. I don't even know who this guy is, but he's 2,100. Maybe the hottest. We've made fun of Royce Lewis a lot. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, though. On Game Log Mondays, you got to take notice to Royce Lewis at 3,500 in this matchup. Projected to be about 10% owned, so he's getting a little bit of ownership, but not going to play Ty France either. Man, Minnesota sucks. I want to like Minnesota, but they freaking suck.
Sorry, you finished?
Oh, I was just the very last point is the price points are really nice for Minnesota with studs. I mean, these guys are very, very cheap for what you get.
DC, I looked at Richard Fitz a couple of starts back. The issue is the length is just not there. He goes 3 innings, he goes 4 innings. He does have a 93 pitch outing, but many of these are in the 50s and 60s. Usually that first sign of trouble, they're like, all right, get out of here. What are your thoughts here on this game in Minnesota?
Yeah, I mostly agree with you. I'm willing to play bum pitchers like this, Woods Richardson and Fitz on shorter slates when I don't like the pitching. But neither of those things is true today. There's a lot of pitchers I like, and I don't think either of these guys are really good. They're not going to go deep into the game. The matchups, I think, are just average at best. Good hitting weather in Minnesota. So no Fitz or Woods Richardson for me. I do think both of these stacks are pretty interesting as sneaky stacks. I mean, we know these pitchers are very mediocre at best. We know it's good hitting conditions and target field, and you get some reasonable price points on both these teams. I mean, the Twins don't have a single hitter in their lineup over 4K against Richard Fitz. I mean, that's got to be a pretty enticing stack on a slate where, yeah, I mean, I would love to pay up for Sanchez and Framber Valdez and get a full good stack against a bad pitcher. So I do like the Twins some, and the Red Sox too. I think they've got a lot of upside here against Woods Richardson. The Twins are in sell mode. It looks like potentially going to trade in the next couple of days 2 or 3 of their top relievers. Makes me wonder if they'd be less likely to use those guys, tonight or in this series. Potentially, I think a good spot for the Red Sox if they can get out, put some runs up early. I think you could see the Twins kind of wave the white flag as they prefer to be sellers at the trade deadline. So maybe even a little upside built in there for the Red Sox stack, which I do think is pretty sneaky tonight.
All right. 6 games left. So we're gonna sprint here a little bit to get through this. And these next couple of games will probably help us. DC, stick with you. Marlins in St. Louis. Edward Cabrera, 8K. Andre Palante, 6-4. I think the 8K is a little stiff for Edward Cabrera. And as I said earlier, not getting to many of these guys that are under 6.5. What are your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, I think this game, we haven't had many of them so far, but this game looks kind of like a cross-off game to me. I do think Edward Cabrera is fine at 8K. Payante just doesn't have the strikeout upside to make him a good play, but he doesn't really give up power, which makes, I think, the Marlins kind of a tough sell for a stack. So, yeah, I'll keep it short here. I'm pretty much all the way out in this game, both sides of the ball.
Big T, thoughts here on the game in St. Louis?
I mean, in general, I don't usually like this park. I don't usually like these teams. There's not a ton of power. I haven't stacked them much. The only reason at all I have a tiny bit of interest in Miami, Palante has been freaking horrendous. Like, so bad the last few starts that I just have to leave. On this slate where we have a lot of good pitching, I can't fully remove teams going against a bad pitcher, in my opinion. So, and the prices again, I'm not going to eliminate a lot of teams like this that I can stack with 2 stud pitchers just because I want to leave myself options to get 2 studs in and have a stack that could go off. I think they can go off. They have a few guys that have upside like Stowers. There's a lot of bums too, but the bums have cheap prices at least. So I'm definitely going to be on Miami. I won't be on the Cardinals much though. I don't like the lineup. Cabrera is probably too expensive at 8K. But I also I think he should be able to handle this lineup pretty easy too. So I'm more on the Cabrera side and the Marlins than the Cardinals side.
All right, we're going to stick with you here as we move to Houston, Washington. At Houston, Brad Lord, 5,500 for the Nats. Framber Valdez, prices all the way up there at 10.7. But after the beating that the Athletics put on the Houston Astros pitching staff this weekend, it would make sense here to see Framber Valdez with a long, long leash on this evening's slate in this matchup. And even though the Nats, not a massive strikeout team against left-handed pitching, they really do very little else against left-handed pitching. That makes Framber pretty popular in terms of where he's going to be in my lineups. Big T, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, just an awesome spot. You look at this Washington lineup. I mean, it's really, really weak. Wood's out, probably because it's a brutal matchup for Wood, lefty-lefty. But it's just this lineup so freaking bad. Can't go there. I'm never really stacking against Framber anyways, but especially not with this lineup. The Washington side, I left another one of the cheap guys that I just left him in there, get like 5%. I'll probably remove him by the time I get done building. But I do think Houston's lineup is extremely weak too, just looking up and down it. I mean, you got guys in here that I just don't see it. So I'll definitely leave him in until I can dial in even more. I'm not going to be on this game for bats, though. Don't love the park. Don't love the spot. Maybe with these prices, I get a little bit of Houston. I don't like it, but, man, these prices are cheap. So, again, I want teams that I can play 2 stud pitchers with. Houston is definitely one of those against a pitcher that's probably not that good. So, I guess I will have some Houston. They're going to be, 5, 6, 7% owned stack. Yeah, I'll have more Houston than I thought when I first started talking about it. Even though I don't love it, the prices and the matchup do line up pretty good. So I'll go with a little Houston. I love Framber, though, with you. You have to like Framber.
DC thoughts here.
Yeah, I think Houston's fine. Brad Lord's not any good. Bad bullpen, cheap. So no problem with Houston. Not at the top of my list, but yeah, absolutely no issue with going that direction. And I'm with you guys. 3 for 3 on Framber. I think he's just an awesome play. Don't love playing righties against the Nationals. Obviously, with guys like Abrams and Wood in there, it's a lefty-heavy team. This sets up really, really well for left-handed Framber Valdez, who I think is going to just mow through this lineup. I just don't think he's going to have any trouble here. There's like no good right-handed hitters in the entire lineup. I mean, the best one is probably Alex Call. So I think this is just an amazing spot for Framber. Expecting him to kind of just cruise here. And honestly, that double lefty combo, Valdez, Sanchez, I think you're going to get 2 nice scores out of those guys. You can build from there, I think, on a slate with plenty of value bats to choose from.
We'll stick with you here as we go out west. Jacob deGrom, 10-3 against Jack Kochanowicz, 5,200. Rangers offense waking up this weekend with the Braves pitching staff in town. Now they go out to take on Anaheim. deGrom going to be popular here, kind of a higher price point than we've seen for him, but he has not had any limitations this season. He has been healthy, and he's been mostly very, very good. What are your thoughts on this game in Anaheim?
I like deGrom. I do have him just a little bit below Sanchez and Valdez in my preference, but I do think it's very close between those 3. If you're playing a lot of lineups, I would certainly mix in all 3 of those guys. Big upside. deGrom has a high floor too. I mean, he really never has bad outings. And we know against this Angels team, enough swing and miss for him to have a ceiling game, which, is 30 plus for a guy like Jacob deGrom. So he's a good play. No question. I like the Rangers here a little bit. Jack Kochanowicz can't miss any bats. Gets crushed by lefties. Corey Seager, I think, is by far the best shortstop play on the entire slate. Absolutely red hot right now. Great matchup. And shortstop to me looks like a really, really weak position in general. So Seager, one of those priority plays for me, along with Acuna. But yeah, I do like the top of the Rangers lineup in general. Josh Smith looks good. Semien, Garcia, Jock Peterson at 2K if he's in there, I think is a pretty good play. So yeah, I'm in on the Rangers here, and in on deGrom too. No Angels bats for me in this one though.
Big T, thoughts on this game?
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff. Seager was he's my only shortstop I wrote down on my list. So
he's the only good one on the whole slate. It's crazy.
I haven't fully looked position by position, but I always try to write at least 1 or 2 names down for each position just to get my chart started for the Run Pure side. Seager was the only one I wrote down, so it couldn't have been good. Totally agree with you. I get so annoyed at how late it takes Texas to get lineups out some of these days. But I like Texas. They got hot. We like hot teams on Game Log Monday. Great matchup. We want to pick on some of the worst pitchers. You got to like Texas. So whenever the lineup comes out, definitely going to be in there. Jock's been horrible, but 2K is 2K on a slate with this much pitching. You'll take your chances. So there, and I agree with the Angels too. I'm just not playing. I'm not picking on a pitcher like deGrom on a slate like this. So I'm actually just going to. Right there on the thing. Just get rid of that. So, yep.
All right. Next game in San Diego. Big T, will stick with you. Mets going into San Diego. Frankie Montas 7,300. Dylan Cease, 9,200, Big T. And the public continues to play these pitchers against the Mets. It just never seems to work out. At least the last month, they have busted every pitcher that's been owned a little bit against them. Dylan Cease projecting to carry somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30% ownership here. The upside is always there with a pitcher of his caliber, but the issue is he misses much more often than he hits. What are you doing in this spot?
Yeah, first pitcher, the first stud pitcher I pulled out of my player pool was Cease. I don't even think I ran him because, I took him out of the player pool immediately for exactly what you said. I don't want to pick on the Mets. And actually, one of the few spots where there was some BVP was the Mets have been really good against Cease. Yep. It isn't a huge sample, so everyone can make fun of me for that. But it like Lindor, I think he had 3 bombs in like 12 at bats or something. They've hit him good, and it's the good guys though. Lindor, Soto, Pete Alonso have all hit him good. And I think the Mets are one of the sneaky teams of the night for me. Another guy that these are the plays that I've had good success in the last 10 years in baseball are just totally random guys that I like. And Francisco Alvarez tonight is one of those plays for me. Just these are the plays too. What people like when we do these shows, when I give just a random guy, people always tell me they like this. Tonight, my guy's Francisco Alvarez. A catcher. I always like random catchers too, because I don't like playing catchers in my stacks that much. I like random one-off catchers at 3K. No one's going to play this dude. He's going to be less than 1% owned. He's got like 6 out of 7 games in double digits for Game Log Mondays. Just seeing the ball great right now. It's Game Log Mondays, JT. You told me I can't look at stats all day. I got to look at a few game logs. Mr. Francisco Alvarez is my guy tonight. I also think the Mets, though, are sneaky. I'm going to have some Mets full stacks against Cease. Padres have been a letdown. I think the Mets are a pretty good play tonight. They're one of my favorite stacks.
DC, Dylan Cease 0-3 with a 6.88 ERA in 3 starts against the Mets dating back to 2019. But 2 of those starts were within the last couple of years. What are your thoughts here on the Mets and the Padres?
I'm almost always lower on Dylan Cease than the field is, and that'll be the case again tonight. I just don't see against this Mets team on this slate. I don't think that ownership is anywhere near justified. So I'm out on Dylan Cease. Just a complete X for me on my 10 lineups. Montas, no thanks on him as well. Just not enough strikeouts from the Padres. And I don't know, not a whole ton to add other than going to join Mr. T over there on the Francisco Alvarez train.
Yes.
I'm not gonna fade Big Frankie if Big T's got feeling the Francisco Alvarez bomb. So sign me up. I needed another catcher.
You just got me excited. Get in there with me. You pumped me up.
I'm in.
I am also with Big T on the Mets stacks. I think that it is a sneaky spot here on this massive slate. DC, will stick with you. Next to last game of the slate, the Pirates head into San Francisco. Mitch Keller, 8,200. Carson Whisenhunt is not in the pool. It doesn't appear on DraftKings. So you can't even choose him if you wanted to. Thoughts on this game in the Bay Area?
He is in the pool, Whisenhunt. You can play him at 7K should you choose to do so. Won't be something that I opt to do, though. Hasn't really been impressive in the minor leagues, and I just don't think you need to go there on this slate. So I'm out on Whisenhunt. I'm out on Keller, too, and I'm not playing hitters in San Francisco tonight. So cross this one off for me. I don't think you need to play anything from this game.
Big T, thoughts? My apologies. I did not see that he was in the pool. I was looking at a outdated sheet. He is in the pool 7K. I don't think any of us are going to play him, though. Big T.
Yeah, they added him midday, too, is what some people were saying. So you didn't miss out. It just happened midday. And you can't really go on a slate like this. I see no reason to play a guy like that. It'd be one thing if he was 5K or something like some of those bums, but he's 500 less than freaking Burns. I mean, what are we doing with our lives if we're playing that over Burns? So I agree with DC again. I mean, will I play a tiny bit of Giants? Maybe I get a sliver. Like, look at this, 1% right now. Maybe I get a tiny sliver, but I agree with DC. I don't want this game. I don't like it at all. Either way, pitching and hitting.
Christian Lyons says Mitch Keller is in my 121 right now. I don't know why at 8,200 you're playing Mitch Keller. He's rumored to be on the trade block, number one. Rumors the Pirates are torn on trading him. Either of you guys going to have any Mitch Keller? He's not someone I'm in right now. I'm planning on including in my pool.
Not even in consideration for me.
Yeah, completely out.
Yeah, the pitching is so freaking good on this slate. Play two guys you love. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing like your single entry, 2, 3, 4 teams. Just play really good guys. If you're playing 150, you can get more creative, but how many people are really playing 150? Not that many.
Yeah, I'm playing 150 and he's not in my 150 set. So
me too. I'm not playing him in my 150.
Yeah. Okay.
He hasn't really even shown that upside he used to show. Like, he hasn't really popped off all that much. So I just don't see it.
He had a good 3 months, and then he's been about league average ever since. DC last game of the slate in Oakland, not in Oakland, excuse me, in Sacramento at the minor league park. Luis Castillo for the Mariners, 9K against JP Sears, 6,800. The Athletics smashing all weekend long against the Astros. Now they return home to the smaller park against a pitcher that's had a very up and down season.
Yeah, Castillo, not the pitcher he once was. And if you look at the splits, the double splits, so he's way worse away from home. Pitches in Seattle, the best pitcher's park, not there tonight in one of the worst pitcher's parks, and way worse against lefties. So you put him on the road in this park, and the left-handed bats for the A's, especially my guy, Nick Kurtz, one of the better plays on the slate, as is Lawrence Butler, Tyler Soderstrom, and even Cortez. All the lefties against Castillo, I think, are awesome plays in this park. Can play as one-offs for sure. You're kind of looking for power, but yeah, I think they are all priority plays. And then it's just the inverse on the other side. Lefty JP Sears against the right-handed power for Seattle. These guys look like awesome plays. Julio, Camporeale, Randy Arozarena, probably 2, 3, 4 in the lineup. I think those guys lead the way. Garver looks decent. Dylan Moore, decent. But I think it's the heart of the order that you want for the Mariners and the A's for the most part. And, yeah, great park to try to pick off home runs. We know that by now, and I bet we see some tonight given up by both of these pitchers.
Before we get to you, Big T, for your opinion on the last game of the slate, just a note here that some people are pointing out. Danny Jansen rumored to be heading to the Brewers, a deal being finalized. He is in the lineup right now for the Rays. So it could be a situation where maybe he's a scratch right after lock or right before it. If you are playing Rays, you may want to consider getting Danny Jansen out of your lineups. Big T, thoughts on the game in Sacramento?
Yeah, again, I haven't argued enough with DC this show, but I agree again. The one thing I will say, Castillo has been way better lately, but even with K upside, but I lean on the parks more than anyone. You guys know this. He's much better. The difference between playing in Seattle and Sacramento is just the biggest difference in the world. Like, if this game was in Seattle, I wouldn't like this game hardly at all. It's in Sacramento, where it's just the best park besides Coors out there. And I just have to like this lineup. Nick Kurtz has been so freaking good. Look at the upside. I mean, they have more upside than you would think. I just love these top guys. And then you have cheap guys for the wraparound. You can filter a few of these cheap scrubs in there to make it work. I'm with DC. I'm all aboard the A's. Love it. Seattle, I don't like Seattle as much against lefties, but the guys I do love are just the guys DC said. Julio, A-Raz, Raleigh. I don't really like the Garver too if he's in there. I like Garver a lot against lefties, but I'm not playing Polanco. I'm not playing any of these bums. I mean, I'll even take them out of there. I don't need any of these bum guys. But everything DC said on this game, I agree. And if I could find a team, which I probably won't be able to because it's too expensive, where you play these three with the A's, little game stack, it won't work with much pitching though. There's too much price here, but I would love that idea if you could somehow make it work.
Even Luis Urias and Miguel Andujar showing some life of late for that Athletics team. All right. We're going to do a pitcher that we like more than the field and then a stack that we like more than the field. I will start, and I will say that I like Yoshi Yamamoto more than the field, and he'll be pretty important to me tonight, I think, so far. DC, Who's that pitcher for you?
We'll go with my guy, Christopher Sanchez. I'll be having him in most of my lineups tonight.
All right. Big T.
Yeah, I mean, it's Burns for me for sure, pitcher. It helps me with the price break. It helps. I think he's got the most upside on this. Well, based on price, the most upside on the slate. And then the Phillies. The Phillies are definitely my favorite stack. So those two for sure.
Phillies favorite stack and Chase Burns for Big T. I am going to go with the Mets as one of my teams that I'm going to be higher than the field. DC, what about you?
I'll eat the chalk Braves. I think the Braves are going to do some damage against Mr. Hill tonight.
You're going to play more than the field of the Braves.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Playbook is almost done. Be done here in the next 10 minutes. We'll get that out to you guys. The core plays will be up. Guys will be in Discord. The slate builder will be up. The boom report probably is out by now. And of course, Big T's platoons will be up for DC, for Big T. Good luck in your contest tonight.